What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here, and in this video I'm going to be showcasing the best legendary heavy weapons in the game. There's quite a few to get to, and there's been a lot of great ones introduced since Into the Light, but then really post Final Shape we've got some bangers. So I'm just going to go through them all and showcase what I think are the best options for every archetype. Grenade launchers are pretty much the meta these days for most things. They got an ammo reserve bump a little while ago, which made them very, very strong. And then they've also introduced like cracked GL after cracked GL recently. So first was kind of Edge Transit I guess the very first one was actually Cataphract. So it could roll auto-loading Cascade Point, which Wendigo can also get. This is very good in certain damage rotations. Or it can roll Envious Bait and Switch, which is really, really strong. And then you've got Edge Transit, which can also roll Envious Bait and Switch, which again is very, very good. And this drops from OG Onslaught instead of Trials of Osiris, so that's probably more appealing for people to get. But then those even got power crept by VS Chill Inhibitor. So this can roll with Envious Arsenal and Bait and Switch, which is actually available from the Gunsmith. So basically, instead of preloading all your shots like you do with Envious Assassin, now you can just use it as part of a 3-weapon damage rotation, and it will always reload itself. But these are rapid fire frames, so they have deeper ammo reserves and slightly faster reload when the mag's empty. The reload doesn't matter too much, but the magazine can hold 8 even with spike grenades, where normally you need mini frags to hold 8 on the adaptive frames, but these rapid fires can hold 8 with spike. So yeah, you want spike. Cascade Point, Bait and Switch is really good for certain things, and then Envious Bait and Switch is good for others. So honestly, try to get both rolls if you can. Like I said, the Envious Bait and Switch is available from the Gunsmith, so that's really good. We also have Bittersweet, which is extremely powerful. It can roll with Envious Arsenal and Bait and Switch. Sadly, I do not have that roll, but I do have Envious Arsenal Explosive Light, which obviously isn't as good, but it's decent, especially for like solo play, but not the best on a boss damage phase. But this thing still gets some really, really good rolls. Wendigo, I really like auto-loading Explosive Light. I don't even know if you can get this anymore, but it is a really good grenade launcher. This is just from the Gunsmith. Field Prep, Explosive Light, Spike Grenades on a rapid fire frame. So legit, really, really good, especially Field Prep on a rapid fire frame, so even more ammo reserves. And then Explosive Light, so say you had the VS Velocity Baton with Attrition Orbs, you could just print orbs for yourself and pretty much always have Explosive Light active. So it doesn't roll with Bait and Switch, but it can also roll Vorpal Weapon, which is a roll I have. But yeah, a very, very strong grenade launcher. And then we also have these wave frames. So this is from Neomuna. It's craftable, Envious Assassin 1 for all. And then Hullabaloo is from the spring event, the Guardian games. Envious Assassin 1 for all, Field Prep, Vorpal. So yeah, also very, very good grenade launchers, but they're the wave frame. So they're really good on the Servitor boss in Vesper's Host, and just great for ad clear. And then from Shaxx in the Vanguard upgrade path, you can get Envious Arsenal and Bait and Switch. So yeah, just to reiterate, Envious Arsenal, dealing damage with both other weapons before readying this weapon refills it from reserves. So basically you never have to reload this thing, and then you can just dump Bait and Switch shots constantly without ever having to reload it. So a very, very good grenade launcher that you can just get from playing strikes. And the more times you reset at Shaxx, the higher odds that you'll get, because you can get triple perk columns on both the left and the right. So that's how I was able to score this one. So yeah, those are some really good GLs. And I do just want to give a shout out to Cry Mutiny, because it is actually really good, because it's just consistent damage. Demo and Vorpal, and it hits pretty hard. With a backup mag, it can hold 7. So yeah, this one is pretty good if you got it back in the day in, I want to say Season of the Plunder. Alright, really quickly, linear fusions aren't very good these days, but Briar's Contempt from Root of Nightmares has really good rolls with like Envious Surrounded, so it's good for certain things. Scintillation is from the Nightfall playlist, can get Rewind Rounds, Bait and Switch, among other really, really good perk options. Mistral Lift is only available during the dawning, so by the time you're watching this, you won't be able to get it. But if you did get it, hopefully you got Withering Gaze and either Frenzy or Bait and Switch, because this has a lot of utility. I already talked about how good Withering Gaze is, and then Bait and Switch is a nice 30% damage boost that you can trigger without a kill. Taipan is still really good with Triple Tap and Frenzy, just for consistent damage and ammo return with Triple Tap. Reconstruction Precision Instrument Doom Petitioner basically has just been power crept by Mistral Lift, so if you didn't get one of these, this is the option you want to go for. Storm Chaser is still one of the best arc linear fusions. It's again the 3-round burst archetype. It can roll with Clown Cartridge Firing Line, it can roll with Frenzy, just overall pretty strong. Then you've got 4x Bait and Switch on the Cataclysmic from Vow of the Disciple. Used to be super meta, it's fallen off some, but still a pretty good weapon if you need a linear fusion rifle. And then Line in the Sand can basically get almost as good a roll, and this is just a drop from Season of Echoes, or Episode Echoes, with Clown Cartridge Bait and Switch. And it's a precision frame. So yeah, this used to be one of the strongest weapons in the game, and it came from a pretty difficult raid. And now you can get almost as good a roll on just a seasonal weapon. So again, just showcasing the power creep. But yeah, honestly, well worth getting, especially if you need an arc linear. So this game now has some ridiculously good options at machine gun. So we're going to start with the Hammerhead. It's pretty easy to get from OG Onslaught. It can roll Rampage Killing Tally, which is obviously very, very strong because it's 2 damage perks. It can also roll 4x Onslaught or Killing Tally or Desperate Measures, and I actually really like this roll a lot because you can trigger Desperate Measures just with ability kills, and then 4x the Charm helps this thing have so much ammo reserves. So it's actually low-key really, really good. So I love those Hammerheads. And then you still have the OG Reconstruction Killing Tally Commemoration, which is wonderful. You can pretty much use this thing as a primary. So some very good Void options. On to Solar options. We've got Fixed Odds from the Duality Dungeon, Field Prep Incandescent, very, very strong. Tons of ammo reserves. This is a high impact frame, so they shoot slow. You can see I have 16,000 enemies defeated with this thing because, yeah, it's got so much ammo, and then Incandescent spreads Scorch to nearby enemies, so it's really good for ad clear. Autoloading Cascade Point or Subsistence on Avalanche is really nice. And then you can also get Subsistence Incandescent or One for All. So yeah, Avalanche, again, only available during the Dawning, but it is a very, very good weapon. For Strand machine guns, we have Promemoria, Reconstruction, and Bait and Switch. Very, very, very good. Anytime you have Bait and Switch, it's great because you can activate it without kill, which is really good in endgame content. So yeah, excellent. And it's a one-of-a-kind. It's an aggressive frame machine gun, so it's a 600 RPM. So yeah, it shoots a little faster than these 450s, the adaptives. And then you've got the Marcato, which can roll with Demolitionist and Hatchling, which is really nice in certain Strand builds. So I really like this one. And then from the Kingsfall raid, you've got Unrelenting, Killing Tally, or Headstone. So Quillam's Terminus is also very, very good. And then, oh yeah, also Rampage Onslaught. Like, Hammerhead gets so many good rolls. And we're not even done. So Songavir Ute from the Crota's End raid can get some really good rolls. You can see I have 1,900 kills on this, 2,200 kills on this, and 3,800 kills on this. So you've got Demo Sword Logic, Reconstruction, Bait and Switch, which, again, I really like. It's the same roll as Promemoria. And then Reconstruction, Sword Logic. So all of them very, very strong. Well worth getting the pattern to craft this bad boy. Alright, so moving on to rocket launchers, there's really only 3 you have to concern yourself with anymore. Apex Predator, you can see it can roll with Reconstruction Bait and Switch, Reconstruction Bipod, Reconstruction Explosive Light. Very, very good. It's from the Last Wish raid and it's craftable. Crux Termination can roll with Reconstruction Explosive Light, which again, very, very good. Or things like Envious Assassin Explosive Light, Envious Assassin Bipod. So again, really, really good perk pools, and this is just a random world drop. And then from Trials, we recently got Tomorrow's Answer. You can see we got Envious Arsenal, and then we have Bait and Switch. Unfortunately, I don't have those together. But I've got Withering Gaze bait and switch, which could be interesting. Air Trigger bait and switch, Withering Gaze bipod, Envious Arsenal explosive light. So yeah, again, just some really, really good perk combinations on this thing. And then Cold Comfort, Ghost of the Deep sucks to farm. It could roll with Envious Assassin and bait and switch. Plus with its origin trait, Restoration Ritual, this was the meta for a while. But with Gjallarhorn Rocket damage phases kind of falling off, this thing has also fallen off, but it is a decent option if you need a stasis one. And then in my opinion, there's really no good strand ones. There is a craftable one from Season of the Witch. The name is escaping me. Right here, Semiotician, but yeah, it doesn't have the best perk pool. So honestly, these are the only three you really have to concern yourself with. And now on to the final heavy archetype, and that is swords. And there's a lot of swords in the game, but again, I'm just going to focus on the meta ones. So we've got the Slammer, which comes from Nightfalls. This can roll with Eager Edge and Cold Steel, which again, Cold Steel is basically like Chill Clip, but for a sword. So this can apply slow or freeze, which is really good on champions. It's got amazing utility. And then Eager Edge is obviously really nice for zipping around really quickly. So this thing is a fan favorite. Summon Bonum. This is a new wave sword frame. So basically heavy attack deploys a shockwave uppercut and launches the user into the air. This is pretty good for ad clear and single target damage. And then yeah, I've got Relentless Strikes and Chaos Reshaped. So if you can have Chaos Reshaped going into a damage phase, and then this one's Adept even, so I can put Adept Impact on it for more impact. This thing is probably the highest DPS sword in the game, and it's very, very good. It's from Salvation's Edge Raid. It's got other rolls that are very unique as well. It can roll with like Attrition Orbs and other things, so definitely a sword that's worth getting. The other one is Bequest. You can see this has even higher impact at 78. And then it can get Enhanced Surrounded with Relentless Strike. So this thing is still, if you can have Surrounded procced, probably the best damage sword in the game. And my god, it looks sexy with the Twilight Keepsake. Like, so good. Let's check it out with Super Black. Yeah, not near as good with Super Black. So yeah, also just sexy as hell. It's from Deepstone Crypt, well worth getting. The other half is from Dares of Eternity, Eager Edge Frenzy, good utility, good damage. And then Falling Guillotine from Into the Light Onslaught, the OG Onslaught. Eager Edge Frenzy as well. It can roll with Frenzy Bait and Switch. It can also roll with Frenzy Whirlwind Blade, which is a roll I wish I got. But yeah, 2 damage perks is very rare. It's a Vortex frame, so yeah, also extremely, extremely good and strong. And then we have the Ill Omen from Episode Echoes. This thing it's craftable, and it can roll with Attrition Orbs and Vorpal. It can roll with Relentless Whirlwind. It's a caster frame, which we haven't seen caster frames in a while. There are some good older ones, but you can't really acquire them, so I'm not going to mention them. But yeah, some pretty good swords in the game for sure. And I guess I could also give a mention to Dragon Cult Sickle, which can roll with like a good ad clear roll with Demolitionist Chain Reaction, and it's a caster frame. So definitely some utility there. This is from the Warlord's Ruin Dungeon. But yeah, not a super like high damaging sword. And that is going to do it for the video. So I hope you found it helpful and informative. And if you did, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. And check out my other videos on the best legendary specials and primary weapons in Destiny 2. And if you're interested, in the description is a link to my Discord and my Twitch channel. I'll be streaming more in the new year. So yeah, if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. And if you're still watching, then thanks so much for watching to the end, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.